Hey guys, it's Ruby. I've finally actually done a setup that I can film videos in because I keep saying I'm going to film videos and not doing it. So I figured while I've got makeup on for work later, I may as well actually film something for once. I'm here with Pico. She's just having a rest while I film a video. So today I wanted to talk about veganism, and don't get scared off. I know a lot of you who follow me on Instagram are probably not interested, but I really want to make this video because I get a lot of messages asking me about what makes going vegan easier, things that you can do if you're a huge meat eater and you really want to cut down on eating animals. I want to start by saying this is not a video to convince you to go vegan. It's literally intended to help people who are trying to go vegan or trying to cut down on eating meat and are not sure what to do or how to do it. I really just want to tell you some things that made it easier for me and have made it easier for my friends and people I know. So keep watching if that's what you want to see. Right, so I actually made some notes for this because I don't want to forget anything. There's a lot of things. I'll start by saying I have been vegetarian pretty much since I was about 11. I started eating meat again for about a year when I was 16, I think, but other than that I haven't eaten meat since I was 11, and I made that decision based off of ethical reasons, and since being vegan I realized the other benefits, which you can research on. Like I said, I'm not going to try and convince you to be vegan. I feel very strongly about it, but that's everyone's personal decision. And I have been vegan for the last 3 years. So one thing I found really difficult about going vegan was trying to cut out all the animal products straight away. Like obviously I hadn't eaten meat for ages, so that was easy for me. But cutting out all the dairy, well, to be honest, I never really ate eggs very much, but cutting out dairy was hard. I loved cheese, I loved chocolate, so there were definitely some things that made it easier for me. The first thing I would say is don't try and cut out everything overnight. Don't try and become vegan overnight, basically, because I think a lot of the time people on YouTube and on the internet are just trying to say, if you care about animals, if you care about the environment, if you care about your health, become vegan. Like there's no other option. You've got to do it. You've got to do it right now. And I think that is just not a realistic way to look at things. If you've grown up eating a certain way, doing certain things, you're in a routine, especially if you're someone who's grown up, you know, eating steak every night, which some people do, of course you're not going to be able to just suddenly turn around and go, okay, I want to be vegan, so I'm just going to cut everything out, because you'll probably be left with a plate of salad, you'll do it for a week, and you'll go back to eating the same as you were before because you find it too difficult, which is completely understandable. So the biggest thing I say to people is don't try and do it overnight. I actually have a friend who did do it overnight and she is very impressive. But other than her, I don't think I know anyone who's been able to cut everything out overnight. Yeah, I would say take every day as it comes. Just don't pressure yourself into cutting everything out. It will happen. For me, when I started to cut out dairy, I would really struggle. I used to make pizzas at home with my ex-boyfriend and we put so much cheese on top. It was really gross looking back, but I just started by, you know, putting less, and eventually I wasn't eating that much cheese at all. And it got to a point, especially with things like chocolate, where I would eat it and it wouldn't even taste good. Like all I could taste was powdered milk, and it was horrible. And it got to the point where I didn't eat chocolate anymore because I didn't like the taste, and I started eating more dark chocolate if I needed that sort of sugar because it didn't taste like dairy because it didn't have any in it. So that is a huge thing that I would say. Okay, number 2, sort of on the same point as that, don't feel like you have failed and there's no point trying if you mess up, or, you know, you get drunk and you get a kebab, or you eat something and you didn't realize it had milk solids in the ingredients, because crisps or chips are a nightmare. Like honestly, I had no idea. Why do they have to put milk solids in salt and vinegar crisps? I don't know. You can answer that one for me, but that really used to piss me off. And of course you're going to mess up. Like when you've been eating certain things your whole life and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to change everything. Of course you're going to eat some things. Don't beat yourself up and don't give up just because you do it. Like the longer you are vegan and the longer you are trying to find substitutes, you will eventually just know. You'll know what to buy, know what not to buy. You'll find different things you never even thought would be vegan, and it will become easy. Okay, the third thing I always say to people is if you've got a favourite meal like spaghetti bolognese or macaroni and cheese or whatever it is, Google vegan macaroni and cheese, vegan brownies, vegan cookies, vegan spaghetti bolognese, and make that, because you would be so surprised. A lot of the time you'll make a vegan version and you either wouldn't even know the difference or you like it better. Like, okay, sometimes you're not going to get something that tastes exactly the same, but you might be surprised. And a lot of the time vegan versions of foods can feel so much better on your stomach. You feel less heavy after eating them. That's not always the case. Like, obviously there's unhealthy vegan foods, but a lot of the time if you're making like a mac and cheese with things like potato or cashews or whatever else you can make it with, instead of using cream and butter, then of course you're going to feel better afterwards, but you're still satisfied because you've had that food that you were so used to eating for so long. I always recommend specific blogs and Instagram pages, which I will put below, but I would definitely say Sam from It Doesn't Taste Like Chicken, her blog and Instagram are amazing for vegan substitutes of regular meals that you would have eaten before. Also, the Bosch Instagram page shows, you know, those quick little videos of how to make certain things, and they make amazing substitutes of stuff. And there's a few others, but they're more sort of vegan, like healthy, gluten-free meals, which is kind of not the point I'm talking about, but they're really good as well. Okay, the fourth thing I would say is to join a vegan Facebook group. It might sound silly and like, you know, I don't want to join any groups, I just want to change my eating habits, but it can be super helpful. So you can go to Facebook and put in Vegan Sydney, for example, and it should come up with a heap of groups for that city. And you can join them and talk to like-minded people. You can post stuff on there. Sometimes there's going to be the annoying judgmental vegans who are going to get annoyed if you say that you're starting off and you don't know what to do, but for the most part a lot of people will be so supportive, and I've actually made good friends through being on those groups over the years. So that's definitely something that is useful, especially if you want recommendations of different vegan spots in your city or where you can find a certain food, what supermarkets are around, that sort of thing, then they're really useful for that. The fifth thing I would say is to download this app called Happy Cow. It's about $5 in Australia, but it is the most useful app you will ever own for eating out as a vegan. You can go to any city in the world and choose whether you want the results to be vegan, vegetarian, or just places with vegan options that still serve meat, and it will show you everything within that area anywhere in the world. It is amazing. It's so worth having, like the best $5 you've ever spent. So definitely download Happy Cow and have a look on there, because you might be surprised how many places actually have labeled vegan options in just regular, you know, meat restaurants that you wouldn't even expect. So that is an amazing, definitely useful thing for you to do. I think I'm on the sixth thing now. People always say I have a lisp, and I never thought I did, but the more that I speak on video I feel like I really do. So the sixth thing is that I would say eating out is obviously going to be difficult. That obviously ties in with Happy Cow, and that is a really great thing to use to find places that do vegan options. But there's always going to be times where your friends go, oh, we're going to go to this place, and you're like, oh my god, there's nothing to eat here. You look up the menu and the only vegan thing is chips, and they're probably still fried in the same oil as the meat, which is personally not something I worry about, but it depends what level vegan you are. But yeah, like sometimes you can't do everything. So there will be times where you'll eat out and the only thing you'll be able to eat is like a basic salad with basically just greens and chips, and you'll sit down and order it, and your friends will go, oh, that's why I'd never go vegan, it's so boring, like how can you just eat that? And you're sitting there thinking, if you just went to a vegan place for once, or you went to one of the places on Happy Cow that says it has vegan options, then we'd all be happy. But you don't want to fall out with your friends. You just want to live your life not harming animals by yourself. I know I'm getting wound up about this, but it's frustrating, and it always will be. There'll always be times where you're going to be sitting there being the difficult one, and it sucks, but most restaurants are accommodating. You can even go, especially higher end restaurants, if you go in and say, will you make something vegan, they usually will. And like I said, you can use Happy Cow, you can find places that have vegan options and meat options, so everybody is happy. The next thing I want to say is that you will hear a lot of vegans going, everyone can live a happy, healthy, vegan lifestyle, there's no excuses, blah blah blah, and this is pretty much almost always true, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to the doctors and get your bloods tested just like you would eating any other way. So there are some things that as vegan you need to look out for. I will say protein is not really one of them. It's so easy to get all your protein as a vegan, and there's actually way more people who eat too much protein than too little. I have never ever met someone who's told me they're protein deficient, and definitely not a vegan. Like, you can get protein so easily, so much evidence for it. Like, it's just not something you're ever gonna have to worry about. However, iron can be harder to get because red meat is very high in iron, but there are a lot of vegan foods that are also high in iron. So search high iron vegan foods and just make sure you're eating some of those. And the other thing is B12. There are not many things that B12 naturally occurs in. I don't want to say the wrong thing in this, but Google vegans and B12. I get B12 injections once every 3 months. I actually haven't been for ages. I need to go again. But get your bloods tested and just make sure you're doing something to get some B12 because it's super important. Again, like, I know people are going to probably shout at me for saying the wrong thing, but the way that you get B12 as a meat eater is that a lot of the time the animals are supplemented with B12, so they take it in and you're taking it in through them. So either way, whether you're eating the meat or whether you're eating a supplement, you're going to be taking a supplement. So doesn't really make a difference. There's not really an argument to eat meat over not eat meat just because of B12. But that is one thing that you do need to look out for. So make sure you get your bloods tested just to check everything is going okay. One more thing I would say is to definitely just have patience. You will get used to it over time. It's so frustrating at the start. You think everything you used to eat you can no longer eat, and it's super annoying. You know, you start to realize your perfume, your shampoo, your makeup, everything you own is tested on animals. There's animal products and stuff. What about honey? What do I do about that? Like, there's animal products are everywhere. Like, you know, your clothes, your shoes, there's so many things, and there are ways to cut all of them out pretty much, but just have patience. Like, over time you'll start to realize, you know, what things have animal products, what things don't. Like I said before, the crisps is a really annoying one. I love crisps so much, especially cheese and onion. And there's like none that don't have milk solids in, so it's very frustrating. But over time, you'll figure it out and you will get there. Things like alcohol as well. Wine is an annoying one because a lot of the time animal products are used in the fining process of wine. But there are vegan wines, and again, like, it's not... I don't think being vegan is about, like, okay, vegans are gonna fight me on this, but I don't think being vegan is about, you know, doing absolutely everything. I think the more people that do just a little bit is amazing. Like, obviously, the more people who are entirely vegan is great, but if so many more people just did a little bit, you know, just cut out red meat to begin with, or stopped using any makeup tested on animals, like, it's such a big change. And I think the vegan community has become so angry and just, you know, frustrated, and I do get why, because there's all these issues, you know, the environment's being destroyed, animals are being killed all the time, and it's frustrating seeing people not listen and go back on their word and say they're not vegan anymore and all of this. But I still think just talking about it and encouraging people to do that little bit will make a difference. It may not make as big a difference as you want it to make at first, but let's just lead by example. This has gone into a bit of a rant, but I just always try to not be preachy. Lead by example, teach people the right way, talk to people when they want to talk about it, know when to stop talking about it if people aren't interested. You don't want to lose friendships and stuff over, you know, telling people to change their body toothpaste to be vegan. Like, there's a line. It's hard. Like, it is a hard decision to make in a world where the majority of people eat meat every day. It's so normal, and it's frustrating when you start realizing how messed up it is that it's so normalized. Of course you're going to get frustrated, and I am right now frustrated, but over years I've just realized that the way to teach people and to change people's minds is just to lead by example, give good advice, and don't expect people to change overnight. I hope this has been helpful. I don't know if I've just ranted at you or it's stuff that has genuinely helped. I hope it's been helpful. Let me know below if there's any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer them. I definitely want to make more videos about being vegan in the future, maybe some videos on what I eat in a day, or more, you know, answering more questions. There's definitely a lot I've missed out, and I'm already getting stressed to post it because I feel like I'm gonna be like, no, I didn't say this, I didn't say this, I have so much more to talk about. But you know, if I think of anything else, I can post in the comments. I hope you have enjoyed this video and my actual filming setup. I finally have. I don't know if I'll keep it, but we'll see how we go. I do quite like the aesthetic of my bed at the moment. I've ordered a bed head, which is the same color as that charcoal cushion, so as in the bed head's charcoal. So I'm excited for that because it's gonna look so much nicer. I'm very happy. So anyway, I think that's all I have to say. I'll see you guys in the next video. Say bye, Pico. Bye-bye. Bye. See you guys later.